you doing, you? What are you doing, you? What are you doing? What are you doing? What's freaking you out now? Hey, get off of there, you! Hey, cut that out! Bird, you're messing up the camera. What the heck? You don't belong on there. You're gonna pull on the camera. Little brat. What a brat. Zooming everything in and out. Bad bird. Okay, are you guys there? Almost forgot to turn my camera on. It is really windy out today. Or maybe I'm just going fast. I'm actually not going fast. Okay everybody, hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well today. So it is just time to give this old Dyna a little more TLC. He needs an oil change. I've put, well, about 2,000 kilometers on him since I have taken him off the stand. And his oil is pretty dirty. I think it's just that the system was probably really dirty. The whole oil system, I should say, because of the way that he was so neglected by his previous owners. And there was, when I got him, there was actually quite a bit of fuel in the oil system from the carburetor just completely, well, I don't know, I don't think it was the flow. I think the whole carburetor was just so dirty that the float was stuck and then it just drained a bunch of fuel right into the oil system. And it looks like he was running pretty rich too back then. So today I'm going to change the oil out because I think it is time. You don't want to be running with dirty oil. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of a road trip this weekend again. Not a long one, just a little one. Quick day trip. So I want to make sure he's got clean oil in there. And then I'm also going to check my spark plugs, I think, just to see how they look. Although I don't remember, I can't remember if I bought new spark plugs when I got the bike or if I cleaned the ones that were in there. But I kind of feel like I bought new ones because I remember the ones that were in there were pretty black. So, and the nice thing about the Dyna is I only need 2 spark plugs and not 4. So you save a little bit of money. So rather than just having him sit there and warm up, because like most of everybody probably knows, it's better to warm your motor oil up before you drain it for an oil change. I decided just to take him for a little ride instead, because why would I let him sit there and warm up when I could take him for a ride? It's like a waste of gas to just let him sit there and idle. So let's go for a little boot up the street. It's kind of a nice little run up the road here. And yeah, it's just like a dead end road. And it's kind of got a nice view of the lake and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. I usually go this way when I'm coming home. I usually just go up here and turn back around because it's actually easier to hit my driveway if I'm coming down the hill than if I'm trying to turn right, because my driveway is just dirt and gravel, and it's kind of messed up because my basement neighbor, well, doesn't really know how to drive, so he kind of tears up the driveway a lot with his truck. So yeah, so it's a nice little ride down the road here with a nice view. Normally there's a bunch of vehicles parked out here, but not today. We're just gonna turn around, and my brakes are so squeaky. It's kind of annoying, but look at that view, hey? Pretty nice. Pretty nice little view there. If you guys can see it very good or not. Yeah, it's actually a really good view. So that's Okanagan Lake. And across the lake there is the highway is there, and then you go up into West Bank. That's actually not the highway right there, but West Bank's on the other side of there. And we still have a bit of a forest fire burning that way. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, my camera. I can't tell what you're looking at in my camera when I'm wearing it, so. Anyway, back home. It's really nice out today. Finally. It's still like kind of cool. Like the wind is cool riding. I was out doing some running around in my truck this morning and I was hot. Like too hot for a hoodie. But right now, wearing a hoodie is actually nice. So this Friday, I'm planning a day trip to Kamloops, which is only like a 2-hour ride from me. And yeah, it's supposed to be 28 degrees here in Kelowna and then 30 degrees in Kamloops. So it's going to be a good day. It's going to be the hottest day of the week, actually. Supposedly, it's going to be the hottest day of the last couple weeks if it actually gets that warm, because they've kind of promised us warmer weather for a while here, but it's not warm. It's starting to feel like fall. And I do kind of like fall, don't get me wrong. I like October is my favorite month, actually, because it's actually, I really love fall, the colors and everything. And around here, last October, actually, I went for a ride in the middle of October. I think it was the last day of insurance on my shovel head, and it was like 25 degrees out that day. So it was pretty nice. I'm hoping that we get a warm October this year. And then it was warm in October, and then Halloween, I think it was plus 10 during the day on Halloween. And then the day after Halloween, November 1st, it was suddenly minus 10. So, yeah, it was a little crazy. And I love Halloween too. I love like free candy. Well, not like I go trick-or-treating anymore, but I should go trick-or-treating. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I love Halloween. I think it's a fun time. I think I have a lot of really good memories around it as a kid, just getting dressed up and going to get candy and stuff. So I really like Halloween. But yeah, it sucked last year because I was sick. I think some of you probably remember my Halloween post from last year where I put up an older picture of one of my best costumes, the Mad Hatter. And yeah, I put this picture up just letting you all know that I was really sick. And I think I actually had that whole virus that was going around for a while there that made life really difficult for most of us. Well, the rules around it did anyway, but yeah. So this year I'm hoping that I'm not sick for Halloween, and maybe I'll actually be able to go for a Halloween ride in a costume and see how many people staring I get. Time to turn around. So, I know a couple of you said that you thought that this baffles might be restrictive, and I don't really know how to, well, I can check my plugs and see, but what I don't know is if they are or not. I don't know how to tell by the sound if they are. Oh, and I hate going up that driveway sometimes. Okay, so we are back, and it's time to drain this oil. So, see you in the shop.
Alright, ready to get this oil out of here. You always want to make sure the bike's standing up straight when you drain your oil. I'm sure that most of you watching this already know. It's not really a how-to video, but it could be for some people maybe who have never changed their own oil and they're working on the similar kind of bike. So you want to make sure it's standing up straight so you get all that oil out of there, and the bike is still hot. It's been about probably 15 minutes since I parked it. I always get into a panic when I'm doing an oil change. I get the bike hot, and then I always feel like it's a mad rush to get the oil out of there because I don't want the bike to cool off at all, but it's not like it's going to cool off that much. But I think that the sooner you can drain the oil after you park it, the better. Oil changes are so simple, guys. I don't know, I guess if you really despise changing your own oil, I don't know why you would pay a shop $150 for an hour or two, or maybe it's even $300. I don't know why you would pay a shop to do your oil changes for you unless you just absolutely despise changing oil, or you've got enough disposable income that you don't bother doing any of your own dirty work like that. But oil changes are so simple, guys. You should save the money, change your own oil, and then go out and buy some lunch for you and a friend or something like that with the money that you saved. Anyway, let's stop talking and continue on with this oil change. Looks good. There you go. Perfect. Now I can finally drain the oil. I always hated doing this on the floor, but I'm not old or crippled, so no complaining. I like to use a ratchet and a socket because then you can just keep the plug in the tool. Don't have to worry about it falling into the oil. I have to go fishing for it. There it goes. Pretty black, but not metallic-y, so that's good. It's black, and that's why we're changing it. So that's draining out of there. I'm gonna let it drain for a few minutes, and I'm gonna open up a Prezi. I got a Prezi in the mail, so I'm gonna do that. Alright guys, so Prezi time. Well, the oil drains out of the Dyna. It's like hitting two birds with one stone. What is in here? Something I was not expecting. Sometimes people tell me when they're sending me things so I can keep an eye out for it, but I was not expecting this one. So, it does have a note. Read that first. Hi Angel, I'm Hank. I subscribe to your channel and I want to tell you how much I enjoy following along with your little adventures. You have a really fun and down-to-earth personality, and I look forward to watching your videos because they always put a smile on my face. So thanks, Hank. I want to give you a little gift. It's a buff to keep you warm and cozy in those chilly autumn rides. Winter is coming, and being comfortable also means staying safe, so please enjoy. Best of luck, and keep the content coming. Before you know it, you'll have 1 million subscribers, and you'll be a huge YouTube sensation. Cheers. Hank. Thanks, Hank. Cool, I don't have a buff yet. Actually, I bought myself like a Velcro kind of mask, but not a buff. And I really didn't like the one that I bought for myself because it was kind of stiff. It was like a thick foam almost. And I was looking at the buffs, but I couldn't see any that I liked and that I wanted to spend the money on because they were at Harley and they were kind of expensive. But yeah, I've actually been really wanting one of these, so that's perfect. Thank you, Hank. Sweet. And it's nice and fleecy on the inside. Alpine stars. Nice. Thanks, Hank. That's perfect. Little breathing holes. That's awesome. I'm not going to try this on right now because I'm dirty. That's perfect, though. Thanks, Hank. That's definitely useful. I've actually really been wanting one of these because I don't like the Velcro. It always gets caught in my hair too. This is perfect. Keeps the back of your neck warm too. That's another thing. It's like the back of my neck I find is always getting cold unless I put a scarf on. But I don't really like the bulkiness of a scarf when I'm riding. I used to wear a scarf all the time when I was riding, but now with the mics and stuff like that, it's a little tricky. This is perfect. This is actually great. Thank you so much, Hank. Awesome. Cool. Well, back to the work now. All right, favorite part of the job. Time to get that oil filter off without trying to get oil everywhere. Actually, I did just fashion some tin foil around some things down there, and I'm hoping that that will direct the oil into that pan on the floor and not all over my bike. I don't know if I can undo this by hand, probably not, but I do have these handy dandy oil filter pliers actually, and I don't know if my brother meant to leave them in the toolbox or if he like didn't need them or what, but anyway, they're in my toolbox now, and he lives like 12 hours away, so I'll be using them. Thanks, Sandy. You are a dandy. Quickly, don't lose as much oil. Look, the trough is working. Trough is working. Yes. Beauty, baby. Look at that. So dirty. And that is why we are doing an oil change. Can you believe I changed that 2,000 kilometers ago? I mean, like, it's still kind of brown, but definitely a dark brown. New blood for Johnny. Alright, I got my oil drain plugged back in. One thing I did forget to get when I was out getting oil in a filter was the little O-ring that goes on the plug. That is something that typically you want to change when you do an oil change. I checked mine and it's not like stiff or anything like that, so I'm not going to really worry about it. I can always, hope that it doesn't leak, I guess. But yeah, anyway, you just want to make sure you don't do that up too tight. Also, I did get this oil filter. I got a Harley oil filter. I don't know who makes the oil filters for Harley, so I'm not sure like what kind of a quality these filters really are, or if you're just paying for the brand or what. Like, I don't really have a strong opinion about oil filters because I've never actually done like a research or anything like that, or opened many of them up. I know that Fram is not a good oil filter to use for your bike. Like, I would not, I've used Fram before, but only in a pinch kind of thing, and like, I've opened Fram filters up before, and they just don't seem like the kind of filter I want on my Harleys. So I'm not sure who makes Harley Davidson ones, but one thing is, anybody who's got an older Dyna knows that the Dyna filters that they've probably sold you before at the dealership they're longer actually. They're like almost twice the length as one of these filters. So this is actually a twin cam oil filter. What I have been told by Harley mechanics is you can use a twin cam oil filter on an Evo, but you cannot use an Evo oil filter on a twin cam because the Evo oil filters actually have smaller return holes, so you don't want to restrict your oil flow on your twin cam by putting an Evo oil filter on it. But you can put a twin cam oil filter on an Evo. What I've also been told is the reason why the Dyna oil filters are so long is because it helps to hold your stator plug in the case. That's what I've been told anyway by Harley mechanics. So yeah, anyway, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just telling you guys what I've heard. Okay, so that's my oil filter. I'm going to be putting that on right away. And also my oil, I could not find the oil that I normally use. Normally in my shovel head, I use a Lucas motorcycle oil 2050. S&S recommends 2050 oil for any temperatures basically below 32 degrees Celsius, but I've not done a whole lot of hot weather riding on this thing this year, so I've just kept it straight 2050. The Evo is also 2050, like any Harley is 2050 for the most part, unless you're riding something older. Some people like heavier weight stuff. So normally I get the Lucas motorcycle oil. I like Lucas. I don't know, I've seen how it works and it seems like a good oil to me. So that's what I normally use. I couldn't find it. And actually, Pennzoil 2050 Pennzoil is something that I've known some older guys to use in their Evos, and yeah, that's always kind of been like a, you know, never had a problem with it. So I was actually looking for that too, and I couldn't find it, which just didn't make any sense to me. So what I did get though, which I was kind of happy for the price too, because it's Lucas also. I got this Lucas engine braking oil. And I did do some research before I just bought this, because it is also 2050, but it's got high zinc. So because it's meant for braking and engines, apparently it's supposed to help your piston rings to seat better and all that. But I did look into it, see what a high zinc oil is like for a Harley, and nothing I could find said anything bad about it. Actually, it seems like it's probably better, because all that the zinc does is it helps just create an extra barrier and prevent wear. So this is what I'm putting in. I think it's all right. This Evo engine is still pretty new. Like, it's only got 8,000 kilometers on it, so it's still a pretty new engine. And I'm gonna throw this in there because, well, it's all I could find for 2050. So it's better than no oil or 1030 or something crazy like that. So I've got my plug-in. I'm gonna put my filter on, and then we're gonna fill this thing up, let it run, let it cycle through, and then we will check the oil level again, because you do want to let it cycle through, and check your oil level after it's cycled and filled up the oil filter, and make sure that you're not low. So let's get this oil change finished up. Another thing to remember too, guys, when you're putting your oil filter back on your bike, or when you're putting it on anything actually, but you're probably working on your bike if you're watching this, you want to just put a thin film of oil around the O-ring on your oil filter. That helps it not to bind, so that you actually get it tight enough. And also, do not use a tool like those fancy oil filter pliers to put your filter on. You should not have to tighten it up with a tool. You can tighten it up with your hands, and that'll be tight enough. Don't even make it as tight as you can get it, because you don't need to. And you really just need a super thin little film around it. Like, I don't know if there's many people who do their own oil changes who don't know this, but maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe you've never done an oil change before and you want to start working on your own stuff. You just never know, right? And also, I wipe the surface where the oil filter came off of, because usually that's kind of dirty. Give it a wipey wipe. Tight enough. Now time to fill this bad boy up. Another thing too, guys, when you are checking your oil level or topping your oil up or anything like that, you want to make sure the bike's standing up straight, because the dipstick fill lines are meant for when the bike is standing up straight. They're not meant for it being on the kickstand. There are some newer bikes though that I've seen that have a full line for full on or off the jiffy stand, or your kickstand, whatever you call it. And that's actually super handy, because then you don't have to try to hold your bike up straight while you're checking your oil level. Sometimes you're not in a position to be able to do that easily, but I've never actually had that hard time doing that anyway. But in this case with the Dyna, the bike does want to be straight up and down to get a proper reading for your oil level. From what I remember, this bike holds just about 4 quarts, so I'm going to pour in 3, and then I'm going to check it, see what it looks like after that. It's really nice having floorboards, because it's like having a built-in table on your bike. It's like a workbench built right onto the side of your bike. And remember to put your drain plug back in. That would suck if you forget. Okay, so that was 2.5 quarts, and I already know that's not enough, so I'm gonna put more in. Like I said, as far as I remember, it held almost 4 quarts. Anyway, okay, we're gonna check this now. And you wanna make sure this is actually popped in all the way. This does not thread in, it pops in, which is handy. It's annoying when you have to thread something in to check your level. I always check it twice because you just, especially if you've just poured the oil in. And yeah, that's exactly right. How's that for a guess? Perfect. Perfect. It's like right on the full cold line. Perfect. That was pretty good. I think that's the first time I've ever done that. So he's good to go. Old Johnny's good to go. But I do still have to let that oil cycle through and then check it again because it's going to fill into my oil filter. So I want to check that after I let it cycle through, but I'm not going to do that while it's sitting on the lift. I don't want to start it while it's sitting on there because it's kind of wobbly the way that it sits on the frame at the back there because of the shape of the frame. So I'm going to start this thing up and let it run for a minute, and then I'm going to double check my oil and top it up as needed. But for this video, guys, that is it. Thank you all for being here. I hope it was helpful. If there's anybody out there who, you know, is trying to learn how to do their own oil changes and save the expense, which you all should be doing right now anyways, unless you are like retired and or just don't feel like doing the work yourself. If you're able to do it and you don't like how much money it costs to get it done at a shop, then oil changes are so simple, guys, especially on a bike. You don't have to crawl underneath of anything really. So while little Loki's over there destroying things, I'm going to sign off here with you guys, and like I said, thanks for watching. I think I said that. Anyway, I'm saying it again. Thanks for being here, and like always, everybody, I hope that it was helpful or entertaining, or maybe both. And you know what I always say, if you like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me, but you like my bike, then like this video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little notification bell if you want to be notified every time I put a new video out. And like always, my lovely YouTube people, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. I gotta go see what the bird's wrecking. You're always such a distraction. I don't know. I don't know. Why are you always distracting me? Why are you always distracting me, you? What are you doing, you? What a little baby distraction you are. What you doing? What are you doing, you?